Rev up your engines!
Well, Toyota just unveiled an all-electric pickup truck prototype that they have in Thailand. They call it the Hilux Revo EV concept. Got a nice bed on it. They want to make a basic workload pickup truck that happens to be electrified, right? And I have to agree with the Kia Toyota. Right? Here's what he says, and I agree with him 100%. I am often criticized in the press because I won't declare that the automotive industry should commit 100% to battery electric vehicles. I believe we need to be realistic about it when society will be able to fully adopt battery electric vehicles and when our infrastructure can support them on scale. A totally logical business response to it. He's not jumping on the magic electric bandwagon. Yeah, we're all going to be driving electric vehicles. Where's the power going to come from? How's it going to get to where it's going? Who's going to build all this stuff, right? Here in the United States, we're not building any more power plants and stuff. Where's the electricity going to come from? They're all like, we're going to make green electricity. If they do, it is going to cost a fortune and take decades and decades to build the infrastructure. We're driving the cars now. You can't build 20 million electric cars and then plug them in. It isn't going to work. If you see one of those super stations that does the really fast DC charging, if one of those little stations is running at full capacity, charging all the cars there, it uses as much power as a town. Where's this power coming from, right? I agree with Mr. Toyota. He's got total sense. You say you build up the infrastructure, fine. But don't rush headlong like fools, bandwagon society, and find out that, gee, there's not enough electricity to charge these things. It's not working out all that well. How do you think a small company like Toyota goes from making little crappy cars into making cars that everybody all over the world recognizes as the best cars for long life, less maintenance? It's not that they love the guy, it's that he makes a good product. And he's got common sense, unlike all these other people that are jumping on the bandwagon. He's got common sense about electric cars, too. Well, GM's at it again. They're recalling 740,000 trucks. The daylight running lights won't work right. They stay on at night when they're supposed to go off so they can make it too bright for other people. Well, here's GM, the company, saying now, we're going to be electric cars. We're going to make all electric cars. We're the future electric cars. They can't even make electric lights work on their regular cars. You think they're going to be able to build an entire car that's an electric car? I don't think so. All talk and no action. Now, this is a whole bunch of Chevy trucks. So if you're worried you got one, hey, go to the nhtsa.gov website, put in your VIN number, see if yours is one in a recall. Now, this particular recall is an expansion of one they did in November. Of course, they fight it tooth and nail and try to say it's only a few of these cars. Well, actually, it's a whole bunch of, maybe there'll be even more, who knows. They always try to cover their heinies so they don't have to fix a whole bunch of them, even though they made them all wrong. I've seen this over and over again with these companies. They'll say, well, the transmission is bad, but only in that model. Then you find out that same transmission is in 8 other models, which they're not recalling because they just want to cover their heinies and not have to fix the crap that they're making in the first place. Take my advice, don't buy the crap in the first place. You don't have to deal with this stuff of low quality control. And the laugh of them building quality electric cars, I can't wait till they start selling those things and they start falling apart on people. And then they wondered, they said GM was the electric future. Well, if that's the case, maybe the future's really going to be crappy. Cost Boss says, Scotty, what do you think about a Genesis G80? Well, now, the Genesis are the top of the line Korean cars, right? They used to be like Hyundai Genesis, but then they make their own brand Genesis, just like Dodge Ram is now its own brand Ram. You know, it's just, that's marketing BS. They're fun cars to drive. They're very zippy, but they are endless money pits as they age. They are not made as well as, say, Lexuses, Acuras. The Japanese luxury cars are infinitely better built than the Korean ones are. I had a video I made years ago, and I compared a Genesis to a Lexus. The Genesis had like 110,000, and the Lexus had like over 200,000. The Lexus had no wear on the cams when I checked it with my fancy scan tool, and it showed the wear on the cams, percentage-wise. And the Genesis had 18% on ones, even though it had about half the mileage the Lexus did. They are fine to buy brand new if you don't mind spending all that money, but you can't keep them forever because they become endless money pits as they age. They do not have the quality that a company like Lexus or Acura or even Toyota or Honda puts into their engines. You got money, you want to buy a new one, go ahead, but don't think you can drive them forever like a Japanese car. Japanese cars are infinitely better built. Dwayne Vickers says, Scotty, what do you think of Car Shield? I think they're rip-offs, covering only up to $150,000. Toyotas go that long with no expensive repair. Yeah, well, it's more than just that. If you don't know what Car Shield is, it's one of those, car warranties that you can buy from a company. If you've ever had one and had to get repairs done, it is a bureaucratic mess of, will they cover this? Will they won't cover that? I had a customer with one that said that they're supposed to cover the drivetrain, and then they said, well, that's not part of the drivetrain, that's the flywheel, but it's between the engine and transmission. To me, it's part of the drivetrain, right? But they've got so many loopholes to cover that. Oh, you didn't maintain it right. Yes, your engine's covered, but you didn't change your oil enough. Or, well, your engine's covered, but, you overheated it. So, yes, the engine broke, but it's because you didn't take care of it. They'll always find a reason not to pay for big repairs. They might do small, little bitty ones, but let's face it, they're insurance companies. They're not going to pay out more than they take in. And it's very hard to get any fight against them because they wrote you the policy. They're the ones who decide, is this covered, is this not covered? And what do you need? You need a mechanic lawyer, because I can tell you what's wrong with the car. But then the lawyer will say, well, according to the wording of the contract, that part is not covered. So do you want to get involved in that stuff? No. And like you said, why would you buy one on a Toyota? The thing might not break and you're wasting your money. D-Inc says, I got a pressure washer attachment for spraying the salt off the bottom of my car. So I sprayed the entire bottom of the car, only specific parts. The whole thing. You want to get all the salt off. The whole bottom of your car's metal. You want to get all the salt off. That's just how it goes. I had a guy this year bring me a Ford, and they're notorious for rusting. And it was 15 years old, and it wasn't rusty. And I said, wait a second. What do you garage this thing here in Rhode Island in the winter? He says, no, I drive it all the time. He was a fireman. So in the winter, he could bring it into the fire hall and he could rinse all the salt off the thing. Lo and behold, it still looked great. So if you do spray it all off, yes. Now, a lot of people don't have heated garage, so it's going to be hard to spray it out outside. That water's going to freeze as soon as you get it out. But if you can get a heated garage, yes, spray it all. Get it all off. Haji says, Scotty, our Rain-X silicone wipers, good. I got a pair for $40 each after tax. I got them on my wife's Matrix and on her Lexus. They're still working. A couple years later, wiping clean. Now, like anything, you want a little bit of maintenance. You want to clean the blades every once in a while. Nice blue shop towel like I use. You can put vinegar or whatever you want. And if you're really fanatic, there's special lube you can buy for silicone wiper blades that you can wipe it. And Rain-X itself makes stuff for cleaning it. You clean the windshield with that every once in a while because that helps. A lot of them, when you buy the silicone ones, they give you a special treatment you can put on your windshield first, and if it does, do that because it will make it last. Or do like I do. I polish my windshields, and when you polish them, they work better and they last forever. So, hey, polish your windshields every once in a while. Believe me, you'll like it because they beat up. Sometimes when we're driving in the rain, we don't even turn them on. Droplets just blow right off when you got it that slippery. Rick says, what's the life expectancy of a 2007 3.7 liter Dodge engine, 118,000 miles? I'm not a Dodge fan, but you got it. Change the oil every 5,000 miles and use that GF6 oil, the fully synthetic oil. Use that. You never know. Now, if you take care of it and you don't drive like a maniac, you didn't say what vehicle it was in, but if you're a normal driver, I've had many middle and older age people get those and drive them conservatively, and they're still going pretty good. And they've got almost 200,000 miles on them. Might burn a little bit of oil, but if you baby them, they can last. You don't want to beat the heck out of them, and you don't want to do too much idling. You want to do more highway driving. They're going to last a lot longer on the highway than idling and stop and go. Understand that too. Your car's life depends on how tough is its conditions, and stop and go city driving is the worst. You do a lot of highway driving, it's going to last a lot longer. George Strobel says, Scotty, what's your opinion of a 2016 GMC? Just bought one, 92,000 miles. They made great stuff. 80s, 90s, early 2000s. 2016, I am not a fan. Now, you bought it. So, change the oil every 5,000 miles with full synthetic oil. Baby it. Change the transmission fluid every 30, 40,000 miles. The weakest thing of that baby is the automatic transmission. They do offer various transmission setups. Let's say you got lucky and you got the Allison one. Hey, if you got the Allison one, that's a much better transmission than the one that GM makes, right? Some of the GMCs, you can still get the Allisons, and if you do, that's good. But realize one thing. You do not want an Allison-branded transmission in one. You want an actual Allison. Because GM used to own Allison, and then when Allison bought themselves back from GM, they made a deal. And they made a deal that GM could sell their own transmissions that they made and call them Allison-branded. So look, if it says Allison, find out, is it a real Allison transmission, or is it an Allison branded? And if it's branded, don't buy it. Don't buy it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.